Adam, welcome back. Happy New Year, my man. How are you doing?
I'm great, thanks. And I got the Montana hat on now, as we discussed.
So that's hilarious because I was thinking to myself, I was like, should I make a crack about that? Because I really embarrassed myself the last time here.
You did.
So I love it. I love the fact that you brought it out here. That is exactly what I remember. That the circle is now complete, Adam.
I'm going to become the Montana trader known in the Benzinga community.
Hey, look, I'll join you when I get out there. I'll join you. Okay. I did want to, first of all, Happy New Year. It's great to see you here. I did want to first start by asking just right off the top, is there anything different that you're either doing, looking for, or preparing for in 2025, or is this just business as usual for you?
You want to react to how the markets are changing always, right? And so the thing I've noticed that started in December and it's carried over now is previously, obviously the markets were very strong last year. They've been strong every year. But let's say you were trading Palantir and it was really strong into the close. The next morning, you wouldn't necessarily get that pop. It might open down 2 points and then have to rally, and you'd have to navigate the volatility. And that's just an example. I'm not trading Palantir, but what I've been seeing lately more is on the right names, you get the follow through overnight. I don't know if it's a January trend, but I've been getting involved in things where a strong close makes for an up open. So I've been carrying some stuff overnight. Usually do options with that, so there's less risk. Whereas I thought the better play for me is an individual trader, right? I'm not a money manager. I'm not holding long term. I'm trading things for days, weeks, maybe a couple months. So I'm looking for the trends. It had been better to come in flat for a while and just trade. Now I like taking some overnight risk to get that continuation.
Okay, now that's awesome, and that's exactly the type of thing that I was looking for in the answer too. So, really good stuff there. Seems like you kind of noticed something, and then you're altering how you trade that. Let me ask you: do you take do you get some of your gains or a portion of your gains booked ahead of time, and then maybe leave a trailer on for the next day? Is this something where you're leaving a majority of the position out? How are you kind of determine? You talked about using options to determine the risk ahead of time, but how are you actually carrying that risk overnight?
So with the options, if it's already moved up a little bit, maybe I'll roll them up to a higher strike. That's a great way to reduce risk in options, is just to move the strikes around. And yes, I always take some off the table when things are trending up. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but it is what I am. I'm a terrible holder. I can't hold an entire position and just sit there with the fluctuation. So I am constantly moving, navigating, but trying to ride those waves. This community, I think I've done really well, because I remember this summer coming on and talking about the quantum stocks, and I was talking about qubits when it was under $2, and I was talking about IONQ when it was at $12.
It's 51 now.
And those stocks have gone. I didn't talk about Rigetti. I didn't know about it then. It was so, but I did say it was going to be like a couple of year play. I didn't realize it was going to be a 1 month play. But like, that's a great example of some of those continuation trades where these things were really popping overnight for a while, where if you held them, you came in, you got rewarded for that. Now they're like crazy. Like I'm much lighter on all these, but they were really exciting to trade. And you know, even the nuclear stocks, which came before the quantum stocks, they reopened the power plant. They look like they're starting off January good and with a strong trend as well. But let me ask you a question. You were talking about HOTH, and I know you said you wouldn't recommend that one, but where do you go? I'm just curious, because I'm always looking for what's in play. What's that hot list that you guys have that you use?
Let me. You know what? I'm so glad you asked that. Let me show you real quick here. We are on with Adam Mesh. Excuse me. If you want to get all of his top option trading strategies in one simple training and learn how he finds trades, looking to print money every week, link is in the description. Also, the QR code here on the screen. Adam, let me show you. One of the things that we do every single day is we use a tool in Benzinga Pro called the Movers tool. And it's an extremely easy to use tool that is trying to show you what stocks are moving. But because you can actually specify up, down in a session, basically what I'm doing every morning is I'm looking for what stocks are trading higher. I start with higher. I go to losers second, but I start with what stocks are trading higher in the pre-market. So this list that you see here on the screen, these are a list of all of the stocks that are about to gap when the market opens. The only filter that I apply to this is a liquidity filter, 600K minimum shares. I need to be able to know I'm going to be able to trade in and out of this thing. So I don't need something that's gapping up 25% on 2,000 shares. Not going to help anybody. And then also minimum price of $1. I don't trade the penny stocks. It's got to at least be $1. This list right here, I don't have to know anything that's going on in the world. This list right here, every single day, no matter what the market conditions are, will give me a list of stocks that are moving on volume. And this is almost always the exact same stocks that everyone seems to be looking at on that given day. This is where I got Hoth from. It's at the top of the list here this morning.
I love that. I love that. And I love that that was going to be my first question, was about volume, because you need that volume. And probably, when you get the more millions of shares traded, the more exciting that thing's going to be in play. I like that you have a minimum of $1, so you're not wasting your time.
Yep.
I like all that. So you probably must have like 5-6 stocks halted you're trading a week for volatility, right?
Absolutely. I mean, just today, just since you're here today, when we haven't really broken down the movers yet, the top stocks that I'm going to be looking at for potential day trades here today are Hoth, IMRX, MSAI, AUR, and maybe Getty. We'll see. So all of those lists, all of those stocks right here.
I'll never trade. Do you know what Getty's business is, right?
Getty image. No, they're merging with Shutterstock.
They trick you into using their images and then threaten to sue you if you don't pay them.
Yes,
they're like a blackmail company.
Chasers. Yes, I do know that.
Getty is a blackmail company. I hate them.
Okay.
They used to be like, we'd be like, post a picture of like a generic whatever in one of our newsletters, and they'd be like, "Oh, you owe us $50,000." And it said free, but they somehow backdoored us into saying, no, that's our picture. And I was like, oh my God, Getty Images.
Yeah. So, okay. So sorry for bringing up the bad memories there, but I'm with you on that, because here's the thing. Like, I'll see either a company, like I don't like Meta, for example. Okay. Meta's a great stock to trade. It's made a lot of people a lot of money. I hate it. I hate it because I just didn't like Facebook's product. I had some bad experiences in the past, so I totally get it. And I understand how that can kind of fold into the trading plan. Really quickly here, another shout out to Benzinga Pro. We actually had this merger rumor news printed several days ago. Looks like first one here was on Friday. That's the highlighted in fuchsia here. So Benzinga Pro kind of had an inkling that this was going to happen ahead of time. But now, of course, we get that news here today. Stocks up plus 45.5%. So Adam, this is how I identify some of these different movers. Let me ask you, what are you looking at right now?
So same thing. We're very similar. I didn't even realize how similar we are. I'm looking for stocks that are in play. I consider myself to be, literally it's like a surfer, but my waves are in the market. So I'm looking for waves to ride, good momentum. I want to get in and I want to get off before they crash. I will make bigger plays when I have conviction on some of the bigger names. Mm-hmm. So there are things where I'll even take ownership if I'm going to get dividends and I could sell calls against it. So we think crypto is going to be, at least in play for a while under the new administration. They support it. So we don't think there's going to be any kind of collapse. So I got involved in where we sold puts and Bitto, took ownership, and it paid a great dividend every month. I'll do stuff like that. But SoFi is a great example. That was our biggest trade towards the end of last year. When it crossed over $10, we're like, okay, this thing's finally going. It's back. And we had a target of 14, and we got heavy on the options, and it actually went up further than we thought, but that was a really good trade. So if it's a bigger name, more stable, we'll go a little bit bigger in size. For the other stuff, we're looking to get involved, but like I said, ride those waves and get off. A lot of premium collection in everything I do. And thank you for mentioning the service. I'll tell you, the biggest thing that changed, I've done this for over 15 years. And in this industry, as you know, people always want the next thing. So I always used to, every year, come out with a couple of new services. And that was part of running a business. But then I sold my business. So this is kind of like my second act. And I knew what people really wanted was to get all their things in one place. So my new service that we have that's been going on now for like 7 months, it's been fantastic, is it's all my strategies in one place. So rather than having to sign up for 10 different things to get 10 different strategies, I trade whatever's best here. And there's a lot of premium collection. We have had a lot of success early on, which has allowed us to get into some of those dividend paying stocks and build a portfolio as we go. So we'll get into those shorter term trades that are exciting, but at the same time, we have dividends coming in, some stocks every week. There's actually weekly dividends, monthly dividends. So having a lot of fun, but we do look for the same things. What's going to attract me to a stock is high volume, unusual volume activity. A plus is always going to be no news, like that HOTH. I'm just
interesting. Okay.
The HOTH I'm just mentioning because you guys were talking about it beforehand. I haven't looked at it yet. Like if it's a biotech stock with biotech news, now the news is out. That's going to be a little harder for me to trade. You said stay away from it. I agree with you. That could be something that collapses before the market even opens. But if you get something that has no news and is trading and they can't find out why, that becomes very exciting to me, the unknown, because that usually means the news is forthcoming and the stock can remain in play for a while as they continue to speculate. And the longer you can have a volume spike with no news, the more exciting it gets.
Okay, well, that's extremely interesting to hear from you, because if I go back to my note sheet from yesterday, where, like I said, I used the exact same set of tools to prepare for what stocks were moving in the morning. I had MEGL plus 188% in the morning, no news. I had KITT plus 82% in the morning. There was a Form 8. Sorry, that one did have news. BAOS, some junky company I had never really heard of, 76%, no news. MBOT, 71%, no news. EKSO, 56%, no news, but they had NASDAQ compliance from a few weeks ago in December. So it's really fascinating to hear you say that the no news angle, there's almost more uncertainty, so that can then create perhaps more of a run and more profit. Sorry, I'm going to check New Year's resolution for 2025 right here, Adam, because we're so similar. I'm going to try and approach things just like that. And I'm going to see if that makes any difference in how I trade some of these low price crazy runners, because one of the things that I've done, and the folks here have seen me do this, I've been like, okay, we got a fairly good entry. Maybe it's near the VWAP or it's near a moving average. The stock pops. Maybe I get 20, 30, 40 cents, whatever it is. And then the question is, well, do I take gains here? Is this going to be 100% runner where I'm going to be kicking myself for selling? Or is this going to come right back in and I'm going to lose all my profit? And there's been plenty of times where I've been like, look, I don't know what's going on here. The stock has no news. It's probably junky. I'm going to take my gains and see what happens. But you're telling me kind of a different strategy. You're saying maybe there's some uncertainty and that stock can really kind of trade more. That's extremely interesting to me.
So as an example, yesterday there was a stock. I don't know. I could look at the symbols like POAI or something. I don't even remember.
I think that is it.
Yeah.
Predictive oncology. Yep. Here you go.
So they did like a merger. They got bought, and it was announced it was $3 per share, right? And so I looked at it. It went from like 3 to 2. And then it went below 2, and I'm like, okay, they said it's bought at 3, but then I looked and they said it's going to settle after a year and a half. I'm like, who's holding this $2 stock for a year and a half? I got involved for one move. It went from like 2 to 250, and that was my only wave. I'm like, I'm done. I'm like, I'm not holding this for a year and a half. If this goes for $1.50, I don't want to look at this every day for 18 months. And everyone has all the information already. Now I'm at a complete disadvantage. People are going to do things, and if it's not close to 3 right now, there's a reason for it. And now I'm just curious where it is today, because I went out with none of it because I didn't 194. Right. So it didn't go up. Like, it's a $3 merger, but it's not doing anything. And so that's what I'm talking about. You know, they're telling you it's $3. It's trading below 2, but there's a reason, and all the information's out. Now we're at the disadvantage. And the other stock you were talking about where there was a merger, where you said you guys predicted or discussed that there was a possible merger in the stock.
Yeah, that was oh God, that was why can't I remember it? I just showed it to you. I just showed it to you.
We call off like 50 names, so it's a little hard. But anyhow, my point is, I'll bet you that volume was trending up ahead of that news.
It absolutely was. It absolutely was. Why can't I remember this? Oh, it was Getty. It was Getty. It was the stock that we hate. It was the Shutterstock Getty images here. Here you go.
So yeah, if we take a look at the Getty volume, right? And I obviously I didn't even know which one we're talking about right now, but the average volume in Getty is 600,000 shares, right? And the news came out today, but yesterday it did 8 million shares. Maybe the news came out yesterday. But even going back to December 31st, it was 989,000 shares. So there's like these stocks tip their hand, and you could always watch that volume. And when you're above that average volume, and the longer you could stay there, that was the thing with those quantum stocks, by the way, like the qubits, like when it was trading around $2, that volume got heavy and it just stayed heavy. It just stayed heavy. If that volume stays and it keeps like that, you have a stock that's going to be in play. There's another one I'm watching. If you want to keep an eye on with me, it's interesting. It's a little late.
Yeah, I do.
And I'm lighting it now, but have you looked at RZLV at all?
Yes.
Okay. So I got in. That one I traded as a stock because there are no options. Resolve AI, but it was trading around 2. They announced they did some government contracts, but they also announced that that Elon Musk wanted to use that technology with that new Doge department. I'm like, okay, we have Elon Musk mentioned, government contracts, and even though Doge is the name of the department, we also know with the cryptos that it's a buzzword. I'm like, there's so many buzzwords about this stock, and the volume's incredible that like I bought a lot at a little over $2, and it shot up to 5. Like that's what I'm talking about. You got that continuation for 2 or 3 days. And then once it got over 5 and started coming down, I'm like, I lightened up a lot. Now I went from, I think I had over 20,000 shares. I'm down to like 3. But that's what we're getting right now. We're looking at the same thing. Those are exciting. There's like, if we take this as we're surfers, there's really good waves to start the year.
Yeah, that Resolve AI, I do remember this. We actually traded this, I think, on December 19th, which was a Thursday. They did an offering in the evening, and it's actually now higher than that offering, right? That offering drove it down. It actually printed some new highs. So, this is awesome. This is really good stuff, folks. I can't implore you enough. Get all of Adam's top option strategies in one simple training and learn how he finds trades looking to print money every week. Adam from T3, really appreciate it. I'm going to call you my Montana trading buddy. That's just how I'm going to do it.
Yes.
Hope that's okay with you. Adam, can't wait to have you back. Happy New Year. Happy 2025. Look forward to making some gains with you this year.
Be good, Ryan. Thank you.